At 45, Ricky Nelson finally told the truth about Merle Haggard, and what he admitted surprised a lot of people. For most of his life, Ricky Nelson had lived under a spotlight that never turned off. Born Eric Hilliard Nelson in 1940, he grew up as one of America's first true television children. Millions watched him every week on the adventures of Ozzie and Harriet, where the Nelson family played idealized versions of themselves. To the audience, Ricky looked like the perfect American teenager. But behind the cameras, he was quietly searching for something more real. By the late 1950s, that search turned him into one of rock and roll's biggest young stars. With hits like Poor Little Fool, Travelin' Man, and Hello Mary Lou, Ricky's smooth voice and calm stage presence made him a sensation. He even earned the respect of legends like Elvis Presley, something few teen idols could claim. But fame came with a strange kind of cage. Ricky wasn't just a musician. To the public, he was an image, clean-cut, polite, predictable. And as the years passed, that image became harder and harder to escape. That's why, when he began reflecting on other artists in his 40s, one name stood out to him: Merle Haggard. At first, Ricky admitted he didn't fully understand Haggard's music. To him, Merle seemed like another tough country singer with a rough past. After all, Haggard's story included time in San Quentin and songs about working-class struggle, worlds away from Ricky's carefully managed childhood in Hollywood. But the more Ricky listened, the more something changed. He began to realize that Haggard wasn't just telling stories, he was telling the truth. In interviews later in life, Ricky spoke with unusual honesty about it. He explained that while Merle's life had been rough and imperfect, that very reality gave his music power. Haggard could sing about regret, mistakes, and redemption without anyone questioning it. His audience believed every word. Ricky, on the other hand, had spent years fighting to prove he was more than a television image. "I was packaged from the time I was a kid," he once admitted. His hair, his clothes, even his early music had been shaped by expectations. And while he loved performing, there were moments when he envied something Haggard seemed to possess naturally: freedom. Freedom to be flawed. Freedom to sing about uncomfortable truths. Freedom to simply be himself. Ricky even confessed that he admired how Haggard could stand outside the industry's expectations and still command respect. Where Ricky had spent years trying to evolve beyond the label of teen idol, Merle had built his reputation on raw authenticity from the very beginning. In many ways, Ricky's famous song Garden Party captured that realization. Its message was simple: you can't please everyone, so you have to please yourself. By 45, Ricky Nelson understood something deeply important about Merle Haggard, and about himself. Great music doesn't come from perfection. It comes from honesty. And in the end, Ricky didn't just praise Merle Haggard. He acknowledged the kind of fearless authenticity he had spent his entire career trying to reach.